Hello, my name's Mark Elliott. I'm from Electro Optics, and it's always a real pleasure to be able to speak to somebody who has made the Photonics100 list. We have today Martijn van der Goor from Avantes, and he has agreed to sit in the hot seat and answer some questions. Martijn, welcome. Thank you for your time. And I wanted to know a bit about your current role in Avantes and how you got here.
My current role within Avantes is that I'm an application engineer. And I started in the past with many different functions within Avantes: engineering, support, sales, and project leader. And from there, I use all the knowledge to apply it in the world of application engineering. And with the application engineering, we help our customers to apply a spectrometer into their application, and we do whatever is needed for it to make the perfect application out of it, where a spectrometer gives a solution into their problem.
Your job must be incredibly varied, lots of different tasks day to day. Which bits of the role do you enjoy most and why?
The most interesting part of the role is that we develop the unknown applications. So we're working daily on unknown requests. So our customers do not know the answer, they do not know what they are looking for, but they do know that they need a spectrometer to see something in the range what they cannot see with their eyes. And for that reason, we are very helpful to do measurements, visibility studies, and some developments to help our customers to find the solution for their problems.
It sounds to me like quite a challenging investigative purpose, with those things. I mean, I imagine most of the work carries on over quite a long period of time. How long does a project typically last from start to finish?
It depends a bit on the kind of topic that our customers are requesting for. So we have a very universal product within Avantes, which can be configured on many different possibilities to have many different solutions solved. So that's the basic for the most of the problem solving.
Okay. So obviously you've got quite a broad proposition. Does it work effectively across all of the markets that you operate in? How does that work in terms of a project timeline?
Yeah, the project timeline really depends on the type of request that our customer has. So we have several smaller requests where customers request small adjustments on the broad possibilities of our devices, and that are minor adjustments which takes only a few months of time to make the perfect combination for them to have a device that works optimal for their application. But we also have some customer requests which are slightly bigger, that could take longer, but then also more development time is involved. I can give an example if you want.
Yeah.
We have lately got a request from one of our customers, and they need to have a higher sensitivity in a specific range. So we checked out with application engineering all the different options that are needed to get more sensitivity in that specific device, in the specific application of the customer. And then together with our customer, we were finding out where the need of the sensitivity was required. And based on that, we checked all the different components in the spectrometer where something can be improved. Mm-hmm. And in the end, we find out that a different detector might be a solution. So we requested a different detector at one of our manufacturers. We got that detector as a prototype, we tested it out in our device, and together with our customer we did some measurements, and then we find out that was the optimal detector for their application, and so we are now busy with implementing that for that specific customer application.
Okay, great example. That's really useful to hear. Now, I know Avantes works in lots of different markets. Are there similarities in the way you approach a project, say if you're working in medical or perhaps in agriculture or those sorts of areas?
In principle, the approach is every time the same. So we start with a default configuration with one of the basic spectrometers that we supply. Mm-hmm. If then something is not working good enough, then we can check out what is possible to change. But normally, often with our possibilities within the spectrometer, it's quite easy to find a solution already for our customer.
Okay, that's good to know. Tell me about data. It's obviously critical in all of the projects you work on. Is it something that's thought about early enough? And what gets missed when partners are thinking about working on a project with you?
We're talking about data. It is the best that Avantes will be involved as soon as possible,
okay,
because it's always the customer has something that they want to solve, and they want to measure a specific value or a specific parameter in their samples. And when we talk to the customer, we find out what they need. But normally a spectrometer gives only a spectrum out of the spectrometer, and the customer would really like to see something that is a number and not a spectrum. So also there, it's always a way of checking out what the customer really needs and how it can be measured or showed into their application. So for that, we have our basic software within Avantes, which can already show for about 70–80% of the applications the solution that the customer requires, like transmission, absorption, reflection, all those kind of measurement techniques. But for some applications, it's just not enough, and therefore we have our DLL or SDK, which can be used to program the spectra in their own software, so that they can do some additional calculations or chemometry with it.
Okay, so very much thinking about the data right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So tell me about the client approach. When a client comes to you with a project, how do they work with you so that the project becomes successful? Do they need to come with a very clear idea of what they need, or is it better to work with you on a scoping exercise before they get too far into defining that need?
The best way of working with a customer is working together, because when you work together with each other, then you build up a partnership which is important to define the best possible application, because then you talk on a good way with each other about possibilities, solutions, but also where improvements are needed on both sides. So if you then talk quite early and together with them, then you can make the best product out of it, or the best solution out of it.
Okay. Obviously, you work in areas with a lot of sensitivity, such as life sciences. How do you help customers navigate regulation and compliance?
As Avantes is operating worldwide, there are plenty of regulations and compliances that has to be fulfilled. So with our automated production facility and our EMC testing lab, we can really improve spectrometers and test on the most heavy conditions. And those heavy conditions are quite strongly needed for industrial and medical customers. And we've managed to make, therefore, a spectrometer which is medical approved, which is quite helpful in such kind of regulations and compliances.
Yes, I guess especially in the medicine field, where it's very heavily regulated.
Yeah, that is correct.
With so much innovation going on at Avantes, I wanted to ask which project has particularly excited you that you've worked on in the past 2 years?
The projects which are quite interesting to work on are the medical projects, where you can really give an advantage in helping together with the customer to make the best application, where it is really saving lives with people. Measure, for example, really the oxygen transport in blood, so that people can check out how organs will be filled with oxygen after an accident, things like that. And all those kind of things can be measured with a spectrometer, but also checking the medicines that are giving out to people. It's all life-saving, and based on the life-saving ideas, it's quite interesting to help by applying a spectrometer in this type of measurements.
Yeah, interesting work, but obviously absolutely critical, and you know, everybody would recognize that. Thank you. It was a really good example. And obviously, you know, there's a lot of innovation in your organization. Can you give us an exclusive? Is there anything you can tell us about what the focus is on in the coming 2 years, say?
Avantes has lately the focus way more on the requests that we get in the industrial and medical fields. So we're seeing more and more that people are requesting devices for doing quality checks in industrial applications, but also doing quality checks and measurements in medical applications. And therefore, your spectrometer needs to be reproducible with a high quality. So therefore, Avantes also investigate quite a lot in having an automated production line, just to fulfill the reproducibility which is required for that heavy circumstances.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping a close eye on what you're up to. It's always fascinating to hear that, you know, what's coming up, because, you know, there's always a lot of interest in what you're doing. Okay, final question. Thank you for sort of answering those so well. I have to say again, congratulations on making the Photonics100 list this year. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great, and also thank you for inviting me over here. It's really nice, and yeah, I learn a lot about it, about what people do, and yeah, what we get with each other in the photonics world, just to encourage other people to also be a part and active in the photonics world. So.
Okay, Martin, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a brilliant opportunity to ask you some questions, get some insight about what's going on in Avantes. So thank you again. Congratulations on making the list for 2025. Looking forward to getting your participation in some of the other ideas that we've got for content coming up in the coming year. But thanks again. It's been really good talking to you.
Thank you.